Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? It is Monday and we are back on the camera. I hope you're all doing great, getting to your goals, getting to your dreams, and putting in all the work you've been supposed to be putting in over the weekend. And if you haven't, I hope today is now the jumpstart of you getting back on track and doing all the things that you know you're supposed to do. I am in a great mood. As you can see, I'm in my flow state, but we are here to talk about a very important topic because, as you can see from my previous videos, I have a lot of big changes coming in my life, but at the same time, nothing will work out if I don't exactly change my mindset and continue to stick to what I've been doing that has gotten me up until this point. So that's what we're going to dive into today because, yes, I'm about to be making this certain amount of money, but if I don't correct what has happened in my past, I will never be able to be successful. And although I have a lot of skill sets that have gotten me to this point, I think it's very important that I really lean back into what got me to this point. Because although I'm 26, I have built an extensive career in the hospitality, fast food, and customer service industry that has allowed me to reach this position. And what I mean by that is I've worked at several locations that not only foster a very big culture of hospitality, but they're very big franchises and entities that not only handle a very, very high based customer service environment, meaning they take in a lot of customers. And I've also been in various positions within those environments that have allowed me to show my leadership skills, my management skills, my reliability, and what it means to not only be a leader within that type of business setting. And that's something that I want to be able to translate to other people who watch this video, because I know there's a lot of us who watch this video who probably are in fast food. So if you're somebody like me who's worked in fast food and wants to move up the ladder, this video is particularly for you. But those who are also in the work environment, you can 100% gain a thing or two from what I'm about to say. Now, me particularly, my first ever job was at Home Goods. And Home Goods isn't really a fast-paced customer service environment, but you have to understand that Home Goods, you have to be very caring in a way because it's retail. So you're going to get a lot of middle-aged to older people, especially because they shop for things for their home and or clothing. So you have to understand that you're going to be dealing with people who are going to ask a lot of questions. You're going to be dealing with people who won't take their time doing things, and you can't rush them. So that's one thing I was basically introduced not only when first starting the work environment, but also just building my customer service track record. My second job was at Toys R Us, believe it or not. The last season before they closed, I worked at my local Toys R Us, and it really showed me my love for helping a lot of people because my mom works as a nurse, so I've always loved helping people, seeing how she takes care of other people. But working at Toys R Us, being around toys and in an environment that was a lot of fun for me because I loved video games. I was still young at the time. I think I was either 17 or 18, but I loved video games. I loved helping other people. So being able to, you know, get people the toys that they wanted for their kids, help people understand what type of gift could be perfect. And there were plenty of times where I was able to convince parents to get certain electronics for their kids. And I know, being somebody who's wanted to have certain electronics when I was a kid but not able to, it was definitely good to be able to, explain to parents what this console does, tell them why this game would be good for their kid. And I specifically remember being able to convince a group of parents to buy for their child the Xbox One Edition Minecraft console, if you know what that one looks like. I remember I was in the back room looking at it with another manager, and there was a family who was actually telling me about how their kid loves Minecraft, so I suggested that console for them. And honestly, just doing things like that not only made me feel good, but it also just made me love working in general because I got to help a lot of people, which is like my main mindset when it comes to working, which is why I've always been good in the work environment. If you are somebody who gets annoyed going to work or struggles, enjoying work, I want you to understand that yes, work is boring, but you get to do two things at work. You get to help other people because you're providing them a service that they need, and you also get paid for it. So you're quite literally getting paid to help other people. So what's really there to complain about? I understand we all have different work environments that are not the best because of either our coworkers, our management, or just the job itself. But understanding that you're still doing something good and also providing for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going there getting a paycheck, I feel like that should be enough to motivate you to get a lot of things done and also just survive and be comfortable with where you are currently at. And if you aren't happy where you are, that's where you need to understand how you can get in a better situation, either by saving money and going somewhere else or increasing your skill set, like I'm about to explain through the customer service industry. So, my first ever food related job, if I'm very correct, was at Chick-fil-A. If it wasn't at Chick-fil-A, it was somewhere else, and hopefully I'll remember within the video. But my very first food related job was at Chick-fil-A. And not only did that build my foundation for my love of customer service, but it also showed me that I'm very capable within the fast food environment, because as you've seen, a lot of kids, when they are at Chick-fil-A, it's more often than not their first job. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you see a lot of young people there. So me, I was particularly, I'd say, a year or two older. I had Chick-fil-A as a job either my first or second year in college. So I was either 18 or 19 at the time. So I was definitely a lot older than most kids, being that they were between the ages of, I'd say, 14 to 16 at the time. So having that older, being older in years while also having a little more experience in the customer service environment, it not only allowed me to understand how to deal with people a little better than most of them, but me being taller in height and older, it allowed me to move faster and also be a little more capable than others. So when training and when we were learning all the areas, because the location that I worked at Chick-fil-A was a brand new location, so the owner had brought down some employees from Florida to help him open the store, stay with us, and train us. So I remember the first night I was not only at the drive-through window, but I was also doing expediting. So it was me and one of the employees he brought down from Florida. He was teaching me how to basically run the bags out through the drive-through window while everybody was bagging the food, making drinks, etc. And if you don't know, the reason why Chick-fil-A is able to be so fast is because they literally have either one or multiple people at every spot. So there's somebody bagging the food, there's somebody making the drinks, there's somebody putting the condiments and napkins together, there's somebody bagging the fries, there's somebody bagging the chicken. So you quite literally have somebody doing every little minute detail. That way, everything's already done by the time it gets to the drive-through window and by the time you pull up with your car. That's why it's able to get done so fast, because they quite literally have hands for every possible position, that there's no way for it to fail. There's a very good system at Chick-fil-A, and I was able to see that and understand that while also improving on my skills. Not only was I able to move faster than most of the kids, let's say somebody was messing up at the drive-thru or going slow, because I was older and much faster, and a lot of the upper management saw that, they would normally replace me with the people who were slower at the drive-thru window. So that allowed me to not only develop my skills better, but also because I was closer in age to the other staff rather than the adults, it allowed me to at least coach them better than the adults would, because they would at least find more comfort in talking to me versus talking to the adults. And that not only allowed me to show off my skills to my employees, but it also allowed management to see that I'm a good leader, which eventually allowed me to be promoted to a team leader and then a management position. On top of that, I've worked in several other locations such as Qdoba. I've worked at Wendy's, of course, as you guys know. I've also worked in a hospital as a food ambassador, which I like to simplify as basically being the same thing as a server. So it was my responsibility if, let's say, I was there from morning till like 9 p.m., which if I was there the full day, I would come in at 7 a.m., leave at 9:30. I would serve patients in the hospital breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it was my responsibility to bring them their tray, but identify their name and date of birth, because I can't give the wrong food to the wrong patient, because some people have certain diet restrictions, and if they're about to go to surgery, they can't eat. So there's specific foods that people are allowed to eat within the hospital. But also, being in the hospital, if you don't know, is the most vulnerable state you will ever be in, besides when you're in jail, because you have no control of your body, you don't know what's going on. Sometimes you don't know why you're there, and you also don't know when you're going to be able to leave. So you're in a very vulnerable state, and that hospitality that I brought by bringing them more often than not their first meal that they've eaten within several hours or several days. It provided so much comfort to people that it showed me that caring for people not only comes in various ways, but you have to understand that people go through things on a daily basis. And even in the customer service environment, let's say you're taking someone's order and there's an annoying customer, you never know what people are going through. So you have to be able to understand that everybody goes through their own things, and you want to be able to be somebody who understands other people. And in the hospital, I was working with only adults. I wasn't working with any young people, or more often not people my age. Everybody that I worked with was more often than not several years older than me. So it allowed me to not only understand that I have to act a certain way in a mature environment, especially an environment like the hospital. And not only did I have to understand how to act in a medical hospital, being that that was a medical hospital, I also have experience working as a behavioral health associate, which is the equivalent of a nursing assistant in a medical hospital. So I was a behavioral health associate in a psychiatric hospital that I worked at for at least 3 months, not only taking care of patients, but also understanding the psychological issues that people go through that make them end up in the hospital, because the specific hospital that I worked at catered to young kids, teenage kids, and adults. So I saw all age groups and how psychological problems can affect people and their life, and what it can mean for people who go through these issues. So understanding that level of care that I have to bring for patients because people go through things not only allowed me to translate that in that job, but also bring that level of care and nurturing in my other jobs, which allowed me to understand how to treat my staff better, but also treat my customers better, because I understand that people go through different things. I've seen people in various states, and I understand that me doing something for somebody can bring the biggest smile on their face, whether it's bringing them their food while they're in the hospital bed, or even just making sure that I ring in their order correctly. Doing small acts of kindness, such as remembering their name when somebody comes in, remembering their order when somebody comes in, or just showing them great hospitality, it goes a long way. And it's one of the key features that I've been able to express, I've been able to convey, and I've been able to develop within myself, but I've also been able to develop within the work environment and also bring out within my staff. That's why I've been able to not only be successful when it comes to going to multiple jobs, but when it comes to sitting down for an interview, I'm able to convey myself and speak on how you need to act as a manager. Because as a manager, you need to be a leader. To be a leader, you have to understand that things are going to go wrong, but the people around you depend on you. And you have to not only be able to take responsibility, you need to be level headed, but you also need to understand things that other people aren't willing to understand. Assess any situation around you, but also make the best decisions that people around you aren't willing to make, because you know more than them and you have the understanding that they may not have, because you are the leader. You need to, as a leader, put yourself in a position where you are willing to be reliable. People can look at you and know that, yes, this person I can depend on. Yes, this person knows what they're doing. And yes, this person is somebody that I can work with and that I can trust, because I know that they have all the capabilities to do the right thing and bring out the best results that will benefit not only me, but also them, also the business, and also this environment. And I understand that these aren't things that will come at the blink of an eye, but paying attention to all the micro details, what at work, going out your way to help your coworkers understand certain things, being the one to take charge and go out your way and do things such as clean the dining room, fix certain environments, learning to prep ingredients, and going out your way to just do more and show that you're able to help out more and be more capable. Not only will that show you that you can do more, but it'll show everyone around you, your coworkers and your leaders, that you are capable, that you are reliable, and that you deserve more, such as a promotion, such as money, and such as a new environment, whether they want to transfer you to a new location to help better that location, or they want to move you into a higher position, whether it's shift leader, team leader, or in a management position. I know everybody who works in fast food understands that there's higher levels to it, but the problem is everybody thinks that fast food is only boring. the food service industry doesn't make or provide money. But as you've seen now, I'm 26 years old. Not only do I have fast food experience, but I now have leveled up and transitioned that fast food experience to the fine dining and restaurant industry. And that's the number one reason why, as I stand here today, I'm making $72,000 as a 26-year-old. I hope you guys caught a lot of knowledge from this video. I hope it was hella entertaining. If there's any questions, drop them in the comments. Please continue to subscribe. We're at 76 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who stuck around this long to the video. And if you've made it this far, please like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.